Hey, welcome back to Lake Fork Marina Friday night free seminar. We got a full house, and it's the middle or the early part.
It's early August, but
I'm always trying to get ahead of things.
It went from like cold, high water to hot and low water, like that,
real quick. It's real hot, and it's August. It's the dog days of summer, and you guys are back at the house. So thank y'all so much for coming. Z-Dub's in the house.
What's up, man? Zito with the boots on.
He's really not here to do anything. He's just gonna hang out. Yeah, he does. Hey, make sure the camera gets a shot of
this. My man
this.
got the Trump 2020 hat on.
There they are, right there. The Cajun Reeboks, folks.
Well,
we got a Trump 2020 hat in the back. I mean, it is quite the eclectic group in this building as usual. Every other Friday night when we do these for free. Hey, it is, like we said, dog days of summer. The bite's not bad. I wouldn't say it's real good. There's some good fish getting caught, but there's not just a whole lot of fish getting caught. There are guys that are struggling real bad, and there's some locals that are coming out here that are struggling real bad. There's guys that are struggling real bad.
It's August.
There's days that we're struggling real bad.
It's doing what it's supposed to. For the month of August, I'm not fishing at Lake Fork. I'm just going to give it to y'all. Y'all can get out there and catch them all. I'm going to fish at Lake X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to just stay away from Lake Fork.
X, Y, and Z. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna tell you that we've talked about this a little before. We'll touch on it again. And Ronnie,
excuse me.
Ronnie will tell you this. I'll go fish other lakes any time of the year. Like, it's not hey, it's August, it's tough on Fork, so I'm gonna go fish somewhere else. Like that, I do that, but I'll go fish other lakes any time of the year. Maybe it's a high wind day. Maybe I'm just not on a good bite for whatever reason. Customer wants to do something technique specific, and I know a place I can take them. Like, there's a lot of different reasons. At the end of the day, it's about giving the customer what they want, putting them on consistent fish. And I think having some versatility in your arsenal, if you can fish deep and shallow, you can catch more fish more consistently. Well, if you can fish Fork and a bunch of other lakes, you can put your customers on fish more consistently.
That's a great point. The folks that fished with me today, they fished with me the first or second week of July, and we caught them on a 12-inch worm, big perm, football jig, that sort of deal. And then today it was punching grass and throwing a frog.
Yeah.
And so, there's a little bit of versatility. And I know that one thing that we've talked on the last couple of weeks was summertime grass fishing, that sort of deal. And so we present everybody with an opportunity to do that. I think it's important to be out on the Goat Lake and the greatest lake in the nation and the best opportunity to catch a big fish. But I'm going to say this, and this is what I tell all my customers and all my friends. January, February, March, April, you're going to see 12 to 14-pound fish out here, okay? I'm not saying you're not going to see an 11, 12-pound fish out here in July, August, September. Well, July, August. I'm just saying you're just as good going down the road and buying a lottery ticket. Like, your odds are about the same. So,
and when you're talking about 8, 9, 10,
anywhere,
then there's a whole lot of lakes around here that offer that same.
Michael's going to go fish Lake Tyler and more. There's going to be an 8 or 9 pounder weighed in. Like, this is just going to happen in a 3 or 4 hour tournament.
That's right.
So all of our lakes present that opportunity. And
you just shut up for about the next 5 minutes. Actually, earmuffs. This guy right here, now he may be on some other lakes right now, but it's been. We've known each other for a long time. I knew him before when he was guiding, and I knew he was good. I knew he caught a lot of big fish, and we kind of knew each other in between. And then he was fishing some tournaments here and there, but he really wasn't fishing a whole lot. This is the first full year where I've worked on a daily basis with him, seeing what he does every single day throughout the year. And it's been really, really impressive how consistent he is on quality fish. And he does it through versatility, and he does it through using other lakes when he needs to. He does it through whatever means possible. And that's what it's all about. Like, we're going to do whatever we can. Like, I will tell you this. Like, the number one tip is when you hire a guide, whatever he wants to do or whatever he suggests, you should probably do that. Like, unless you are really wanting to learn one specific technique, or you're wanting to hone one specific skill or certain thing, or wanting to learn one specific lake like Lake Fork, if he suggests that maybe we ought to go somewhere else, or hey, maybe we ought to fish shallow and you're wanting to fish deep, just do what he wants to do, because he wants to put you on fish. The way he makes his living is by having other people catch fish with him on a consistent basis. So Ronnie's I've been like,
I appreciate it, man.
The consistency, and
it helps to have somebody to work with. That's a big deal.
You've caught a couple really big ones, but it's not like you've had a year full of 10 pounders. That's not what I'm saying. But the consistency of the quality fish and the big best 5 bags of fish day in, day out has been just unbelievable. You've been amazing. So
I appreciate it.
I guess I'm just saying, call Captain Ron.
Especially the first 2 weeks of August while Billy's out here on vacation. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, so the topic for tonight is going to be, everybody says hacks. I don't even know where this term came from, but it's a common term now, life hacks, fishing hacks, whatever hacks. Well, we're going to talk about fishing hacks, little tips, little tricks, little things that you can do that are simple, easy. Anybody can do them. They're going to make you more efficient on the water. They're going to make your day go easier. They're going to make your day less stressful. We're going to talk about as many of those as we can fit in. This is going to be a very open dialogue, open forum type of deal.
Ramble.
So please, at any time, if you have any question, any comment, any topic about anything that you want to talk about, please just shout it out, raise your hand, whatever you want to do, let us know, and we'll be happy to address it. Ron, we'll let you take the first one, man.
Great.
Go ahead.
I'm going to talk about my line. So, obviously, I use a variety of rods, a variety of reels, a variety of lines. Everybody asks me, you know, what's my favorite speed reel? What's my favorite speed or size rod? All this stuff. So, one of the trickiest things, all my reels either have the speed on them or have something that hints to them. So, for instance, my Metaniums, the 6-4-1 reel, it just says Metanium. That's all. So I know that it doesn't have XG or HG, so I know that's 6-4-1. My 7-4-1s, they say HG, and then it also has 7-4-1, so I know that's 7-4-1, and then XG on the 8-4-1s or 8-5-1. So those are labeled. All my rods are going to say something 7-6, whatever. They're going to have either the strength or the taper, which will be moderate, extra fast, something like that. The only thing that's not labeled is my fishing line. There's a couple different ways that people label their fishing line, and one that I picked up a couple years ago that I thought was pretty nifty is this little tape deal. And some of you guys have seen this before on Facebook. There was somebody posted it on Facebook like 2 years ago. Somebody or 3 years ago. Somebody posted. I don't remember. I posted the video, but I'm not certain that everybody's seen it. So what I've got is electrical tape. So the way I'm going to put this on is I'm going to put it below the butt of my rod. I don't want to actually put this above the front reel seat, because I don't know if you guys, does everybody know that tape can actually change the power of your rod? So you take a medium action rod and put some tape in the middle of it, it's going to have a little bit more stiffness. Everybody. So there's a lot to building a rod, right? You know, a rod builder gets a blank and then he's got to find a spot. There's a lot to it. So you're going to put this below your reel. And so for instance on mine, I've got split grip. So I've got a small, 4-inch, 3.5-inch cork handle. I've got some more blank, and then I've got a small butt. And so I wrap this strategically. I wrap this under the top part of my handle. The reason I don't wrap it on the bottom is because when I'm making my cast, I'm constantly grabbing right here, and so that my thumb or my hand can knock this tape loose. So I put it right up underneath here. And then what I do is you got to have a special spot in your boat. So in my 2019 Skeeter ZX 250 pump powered by Yamaha. So in my boat, so in my boat, right in front of the windshield, there's a day box. And when you open that day box, which is really easy to open, really quick to open, there's about this much aluminum. The box is set over, and there's a space of aluminum. So what I've done is I've taken each piece of tape and I put just a little square, about 1 inch of tape, all the way down. And then I took a Sharpie, a black Sharpie, and I wrote the size down. So let's say this is 20. Okay, so this is 20-pound fluorocarbon, and it's also 20-pound braid. So for instance, on my spinning rig, I throw 20-pound braided line on my spinning rod. So and it's braid, and I already kind of know, but just for clarification, I put this on my 20-pound fluorocarbon, and of course, if you got monofilament, most of you guys are going to know. I'm picking up my topwater rod. This ain't fluoro. If you don't, we've got a lot of rods in our boats. At times there's 30 rods in a boat, so at times it's a little confusing. If you got 5, 6, 7 rods, it may not be as confusing. But all I do is I take this, and like this right here, 17-pound line. I just put a wrap around it, and then I've got all the little deal, and we'll call that my key. And then it just has 17 right there. Now, if it came down to it, let's say in my boat, blue is 15. And I've got 15 mono and I got 15 fluoro, and I don't know the difference. I might have another color. I might take red and put 15M on there, and write the 15M. But kind of sew it up with 5 different colors. I'm not normally out here because I'm not traveling fishing tournaments like some of these guys. So I don't have 8 or 9 different lines. I've got 17-pound line. I've got 65-pound braid, 50-pound braid, 20-pound fluoro, 15-pound line, and that's about what I throw for the most part out here. So that's the first one. It's real simple. Take you some electrical tape. I got a little zip tie, and I think this electrical tape, like the whole roll at Walmart, was like $5, you know. And I wrap it around there, and then what I'll do, and this is another just quick tip. I'll take a reel off every once in a while. Like, let's say me and Billy are out there, and all of a sudden we're frog fishing. I don't have the rod I need, but I got the reel, so I switch reels. Well, I take that reel off with 15-pound fluorocarbon on it. I just take me a little blue piece of tape, and I tape my line to my reel with this. So it lets me know, hey, this line that's on this reel is 15-pound fluorocarbon right here. So real simple, real easy, and it's for me, anytime you're writing Sharpie stuff, it's going to get erased. Like your sweat on the reel, I've seen people do stuff like that. People will put dates on there. You can put a date. That's why it's right here. It's under my hand. That way nothing's actually touching that part. If I put, like I said, I had it above the bottom cork, but after a week or two, you know, the end of it will start to kind of come loose. So there's my first hack.
First hack right there. All right, so I'm going to talk to you guys about storage in your boat and how to store things. Not how you should store things. I mean, you can if you want to copy what I do, but this is how I store things, having a boat full of people every day, being a fishing guide, and being able to access what I need to access without having to move rods and dig through stuff and inconvenience my customers as little as possible. So, drawn a diagram of a boat. It's a terrible drawing. Like I always say, my artwork is awesome. So thank you. I'll sign this and sell it at the end of the night. This will be your main, you know, your little. It's not as big as it is on the actual boat, but that's where your trolling motor pedal is and where the very front deck of the boat is, right, you know, in front of all the compartments. And most boats, and some will have multiple compartments here, but most boats nowadays kind of have a main storage area in the middle, and then rod storage or excess storage on the sides, right? So on the front deck, the big thing is what I want to do is everything that I'm going to use today needs to be in this box right here in the middle. Not over here on the side, because you got all your rods laid on the side. You got all your rods laid here. I don't want them in the back because I don't want to have to go to the back deck and then kick that guy off the back deck and all that stuff. I want it to be right there where I can turn around, open a box, and get what I need right now. So everything that I'm going to use is going to be right here. So what I like to do is take crankbaits. And Ronnie will laugh because he's like, man, there's only 6 crankbaits in there. It only holds 8. Like, he's laughing. But the deal is this crankbait box will be right here. But there might be 3 or 4 more right here to the side. So if I run out of a color or something and I have to, I can reach over here and get something out of there. But before I go fishing for the day, I told y'all I lost some crankbaits today. I lost some crankbaits today. So like if I'm going fishing tomorrow, well, when I get home tonight, I'm going to grab 2 crankbaits out of here, fill this box back up so I have my day box ready to go. So I keep everything that I'm going to need for today in the middle compartment, and I keep backup storage, okay, over here on one side where all my rods are laid out. And then I keep all my extra rods right here in the other side compartment where I have all my rods that I'm using that day laid out on the deck, and all my extra rods are in here. So this center compartment is just happening. If you open my center compartment, it's jam full of clear Plano boxes, even on plastic. So on plastics, these are the new 6 cents Divine Shaky Head worms. They're a finesse worm. They're, you know what? We might have to give some of these away tonight.
I haven't even seen them.
No, you haven't seen them yet. So I'll take my plastics and put them in a, like my plastics, like there's a whole bunch of each color that I'm going to use right now this time of year in this box. And that's going right here in my center compartment. But I've got bags, like, let's say that we're catching them on the watermelon red, or I don't think that's what it's actually called, but it's kind of like a watermelon red. It looks like watermelon red, so I'm going to call it watermelon red. Let's say I'm catching them on watermelon red, and me and my customers are whacking them. We're wacky rigging these finesse worms, and we're catching them 100 fish. You know, we're on Lake Welsh in February, and we're catching every fish in the pond, right? And you literally will catch 100 fish on Lake Welsh on a wacky worm in February. And we run out of worms. Well, I've got bags of them over here that I can then reach in and grab. And let's say that I've got two sections in here that are watermelon red, and we use all these today. Well, now tonight, again, I'm going to go in here and refill this box right here. So this just keeps it where I've got, instead of having, I mean, that's about, let's see, that's 2 bags per section, and that's 8, so that's 16 bags of plastic. So instead of me having 16 bags of plastics in a binder or 16 bags of plastics floating around in a box in this main compartment, I've got one box that keeps everything nice and compact and organized. All my colors are separated. I never have to look for anything. It's all right there, plain and visible. And it just keeps me from having to dissect the front deck and dig and look for stuff.
Have you seen any trouble with those? Because I'm always going back and forth. Have you seen any trouble, obviously for you guys, you're on the water all the time, with it sticking or with them melting or catching less fish because
Like
they're
the
losing
divider
scent?
marks.
Just in general, with putting fish in there rather than baits in there rather than the original packaging.
No, I think there are some.
The top, so I didn't know
There are
if
some things that I have to be careful with. Okay, so this is, we're going to get kind of in depth on this deal, which is fine because we like to do in depth around here. So there's certain baits, so swim baits.
Right.
There's some big-tailed swim baits that I'm going to leave in the package.
Yeah, because you don't get.
I'm going to leave in the clamshell because if that tail gets deformed, it's going to affect the action.
Right.
As far as losing scent or melting, I don't have a problem with baits melting, but my boat stays in an air-conditioned garage at night. So I'm either out on the water where it's got open air, we run up and down the lake, and things aren't just getting overheated. Your plastics and your baits don't melt in your boxes when you're on the lake. They melt when it's sitting in your driveway or your garage. That's when they melt. Well, I have that solved because I got a garage and I put a window unit on it, and it stays nice and cool. It stays about the hottest it ever gets, about 80 degrees in there. So none of my stuff ever melts. So that's how I solve that problem. But yeah, you will have in Texas, you will lose some plastics to overheating and stuff if you're leaving your boat outside in the sun overnight for days at a time during the week while you're at work. It can be.
And I've had more crankbaits pop than I have plastics melt.
Crankbaits go, and they just kind of explode. They expand
My
out.
boat storage is not air conditioned. I have a big pegboard of baits, and I haven't seen it either. I haven't seen any deformation, but I go back and forth. I have some in boxes, some in bags, and it's just.
And I keep everything in bags. It's just different style. I keep mine in what am I trying to say? Plastic, like Tupperware boxes.
Oh.
They're about this tall, about this wide. A Zoom bag just slides right perfect, and it's all the way open. And it's the same deal.
But you can do that too.
But
I'm just put it right here in the box where you can access it all the time.
Right.
The organization is a total personal preference deal.
Yeah, mine's like a mix. I use big Ziploc gallon bags. Put all my baits in there, and then I put those in a big Tupperware thing, and then I can work.
I just did money bags on mine. I love them.
That's because you big money though.
No,
you gotta be big money to have money bags. This dude just said I did money bags. You're getting robbed.
the Bass Mafia bags.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. I put 5 of them in a Tupperware about this big, and it carries all the plastic.
So we pretty much
Cinco's crawls.
And the big deal for me on this is not do you store it in a bag or do you store it in a box.
It's availability.
The big deal is I can get to it in this middle box without moving rods. And all I got to do, I usually got one customer here and one customer here. So for me, or if you got your buddy with you, your tournament partner, you don't got to kick him to the back deck or say, hey, go, whatever. Like, you just put him right here, and then you get in here, and you don't have to move any rods. You don't have to do nothing. So that you're in and out of that box as fast as possible. That's my in-game goal, is to get in and out as fast as possible. So that's why I organize that like that. And then on the back deck, I just keep all my other stuff, like all my life jackets, throw cushions, rope, tools, all that stuff. I keep that back here. And then for me being a guide, I like to keep extra space. So I'll try to pack all my life jackets and throw cushions and rope and stuff in this one box, and then I'll put like some tools, an extra rain jacket or something like that in here, and then leave that box open, because a lot of times people will show up with a bag of whatever, snacks, a little bit of tackle they wanted to use, whatever.
Cooler.
So
rod case. You just never know.
For those that saw the prank video, you never know what they're going to show up with. We're going to tackle that later on my next one, but and then this. You got a little glove box here, and that's where I put, bug spray, sunscreen, wallets,
anything
keys,
without
phones,
hooks,
miscellaneous, anything.
If you put a hook in there, I'm kicking you out of my boat.
Don't put anything with hooks in the glove box, because that is like keys at the end of the day, bad juju. So,
and it's this deep, isn't it? And it's this wide, and it's pitch black.
It's really like this wide and this wide, but
it takes 30 minutes to find your keys.
I'm gonna tell you, it is amazing how much stuff you can cram into that little bitty glove box. That's how I do my boat. That's how I organize my boat. I do think it's a very big deal. I think having everything that I need ready, like it's a very rare case that I have to go in here during the day. And I think that's a big deal. I think it saves me time and keeps me fishing more. So.
And one thing I'll add is, he didn't show you on there. Let me see this marker real quick. But you got a day box on most boats, especially newer model boats.
Oh, yeah, day box, yeah.
You got a day box right here. And I think that's a great way. You know
what we do need, let's talk about that, because we do need to go ahead.
And the stuff that I keep in my day box is going to be my scale, scents. The spike it garlic scent. I don't like put any of that, belly jelly or whatever people put on their stuff. The bass I catch, they don't normally sniff the bait first. But I'll put let's say I'm catching one on a fluke, and I do have the deal similar to what you guys got, and I grab a bag of flukes out, and we catch 2 or 3. I might throw that bag of flukes in there in my day box. Now, one big difference between me and Billy is I'm putting that bag of flukes up. This sucker right here, Like, there's so much tackle, dude. I wish we had a picture to show the guy. Like,
Don't you never take a picture of the my boat.
But let me tell you, Mike Iaconelli, Gerald Swindle, all those guys, I mean, their boat's just a freaking mess like yours. I mean, it's an organized chaos.
Yeah.
Like if you hit a wave though, and the baits came flying.
I've never, ever, ever pulled a hook out of a customer that was my fault.
Man, you're lucky.
Yet.
Yeah.
You know, so for the day box for me, one of the big things that I do with the day box, I'm glad you brought this up because I forgot it. Hooks and weights. Those day trays come with like 3 segments, right? And so my back segment, I'll kind of keep, you know, I might keep some plastics that I'm using that day, or just something that I kind of leave that as a catch-all, anything I want to put in there. But the middle part of that, I'll put all my hooks in there, and I'll leave them in the original packages. I don't put hooks in these boxes, and I know that's weird, that's opposite, but man, we live in Texas, and it's hot, and it's humid, and we're always on the water, so it's even more humid, and rust is a very real issue around here on your baits. And if you get any bit of water in a hook box, you lose an entire box of hooks. If I get water in 1 bag of hooks and it rusts, I might lose 1 bag of hooks, maybe. It's pretty rare if you leave them in the bag that they'll start rusting on you. They will if you get water in them, but if I'm keeping sealed up bags in a day tray in individual packages, the odds of that getting water in it are pretty darn rare, really. It really is. And I have had rust issues drop dramatically since taking them out of the plastic boxes and using the day tray. So I'll have 1 or 2 bags of every hook that I might need, be it a shaky head, an EWG, a flipping hook, a wacky hook, and I'll just
manufacturer's package.
in the package that I buy them off the rack here at the store, and I'll just put them in that middle compartment. And then the front section of the day tray I use for weights, same deal. I just leave them in the package, put the weights in there, I put the spike it in there, I got the pins and the dot, I've got the lead strips for swim baits for making them trail right, just different stuff like that I might use. The nail weights for the wacky worms, the Nico Rick, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, exactly. You weren't supposed
The
to.
Nico rig.
The new name for the wacky worm.
He's making fun of these millennials that we can't outfish. You know, like, we can't beat them.
There's a lot of truth to that.
There is.
Yeah.
Easily. Stop me.
So there you go.
And that's good. I'm gonna add to that. I do keep a hook box and a sinker box, and that's because I got 97 different styles of hooks and 97 different styles of sinkers. But one thing I do,
Yeah, I use a lot less variety of
Yeah,
hooks
I've
than
got-
you got a lot of
I
different
got all these different hooks. But anyways, one thing that I do that's pretty similar to that is I keep all of my weighted hooks in the original package, because if you think about it, in which it'll blow your mind. So you got 1/0 weighted owner flashy hook, 1/0 weighted no flashy, all the way up to 10/0 weighted flashy, 10/0 weighted no flashy. You got horny toad hooks, you got double hooks for rivets, you got all those hooks that are in individual
different
packages.
shaky heads.
I got them all together in that front box with a big, like, Velcro band around them that's stretchy. And when I get done, I drop it back in the box. That's a good point. In tackle organization, here's what I'll tell you guys. You guys probably heard me say this before, but in 2004, I went to a bass camp at Lake Tyler that Jay Yellis put on, and I don't remember who was talking about, Alton Jones or Shogert. One of these guys were talking about efficiency. And
That's what this is all about.
it's all about efficiency. And
That's really what everything we're talking tonight is about.
and not everybody's going to understand that. So not everybody who fishes tournaments in here, like, pretty regularly. Okay, so you guys that fish tournaments are on the same page. Not everybody else is. You got to understand, and this is important that they understand this, because me and you are not thinking about this. Not everybody out here is in a race. I'm in a race. Like, when I get in my boat, it's a freaking race. And I've got a couple sayings, and one of them is, he who casts the most, catches the most. And it's not true, but I do try to make
It's not black and white, that simple true.
But there's a lot to
the
it.
odds and the percentages are higher the more casting.
And it's about keeping your bait in the water longer and being efficient. Everything that I do on a guide trip that I teach, I know customers, I'll grab a rod, and I should have brought a rod, but I'll take my bait, I'll hook it up either to my reel or to my bait keeper. From the bait, I grab my rod right here, the blank, I'm holding my handle right below my reel, I slide my hand up about to the middle, and I spin that rod, and that reel just goes, and I hold my thumb out right with the guide right here, and I let it go. So, and here's where people mess up, and I see this all the time. People grab their line, they go up to that first eye, and they spin it once or twice.
That didn't mean good.
Well, it's locked tight from your reel to that first guy, and then it's all the way open. And the reason I do that is me and Billy are sitting there, we pull up, and they start schooling. And we're in a tournament, right? And there's a giant out there, that one that, like, I need him to get his super spook out. I need him to catch it right now. Like, he's got a 7 or 8 second window, and he grabs that rod, and it's in between other line, and the tip's wrapped in
when
there.
you're driving down the road, when you're driving down
the lake,
and your boat's bouncing a little bit, they all do. Your rod, if you just put your bait on the keeper, and you run down the lake, your rods will go in between the line and the rod, and then it'll get tangled around the guides on your other rod,
and it can be a nightmare.
And you just got this mess. Or if you I've seen a lot of people leave the bait hanging off the end. Well, what happens when the baits do this? As you're driving down the lake from the wind blowing them, and then you go to grab one and you can't get it out. Well, and it's not just the schooling deal. Like, let's say that you have a fish blow up on a frog and miss it, and you need to grab that wacky worm to try and catch him. Who does that? Who likes to throw a follow-up bait behind a frog when they blow up on it? Everybody shaking their head.
I thought a frog was the follow-up bait.
That's true with Ronnie. But yeah, and then you get a frog that blows up on it, and then you go to pick your wacky worm up, and it's tied. It's tangled up in your other rods. Well, now by the time you get that untangled, that fish is gone. So you just potentially lost a fish. So the being efficient on the water. When people ask me, what's the number one thing that I can do to become a better fisherman? If you're just starting out, if you're brand new to it, if you're a high school angler, whatever it is, you're new to tournament fishing, you just got back into it. You are kind of novice, and you want to know how to get better at fishing. There's 2 things you need to do. You need to pay however much attention you think you're paying. You need to pay a lot more attention to every single detail, and you need to become more efficient. That's the 2 things. If you noticed every bite and how they bite it and what you were doing with your bait and what kind of cover was there and how deep was it, if you notice all those details and you work on being more efficient and making more casts and keeping your bait more in the strike zone, higher percentage of your day, buddy, you're going to accelerate. You're going to get a lot better at fishing real fast.
And like I was saying earlier, not everybody's in a race. Some of you guys like to leisurely fish. You like to get up, you like to drink your coffee, eat your breakfast, hook the boat up, get out there. So,
and there's nothing wrong with that either.
No.
But if you want to get better at fishing and you want to catch more fish, even if you're more efficient at a slower pace, at the end of the day, your odds will go up to catch more fish.
Yeah, 100%. And I think efficiency is a big deal. And when I was younger, at 21 to 24, I would fish really. My goal was to be able to throw my crankbait straight, put my trolling motor on high, and keep the same amount of vibration in my crankbait as if I'm sitting still and I'm throwing it and I'm reeling it in. Does that make sense? I wanted to be able to go at my crankbait with my crankbait coming at me at the same pace. And so that's how. And Billy's fished with me when I've got up there after a monster and get going. And all the efficiency stuff, the little
Monster energy drink, folks.
Yeah, the efficiency stuff's a really big deal.
Have y'all ever seen? Y'all remember? We got some older hands in the crowd. Everybody remember the Tasmanian Devil? That's a little bit like fishing with Ronnie. Yeah. That's basically, you got that in your boat.
And customers don't get to see it because I'm catering to them, and I'm not fishing.
You're being professional, Ronnie.
Yeah.
But then when the real Ronnie shows up, you're like, good Lord.
We fished that tournament at Welsh,
dude. Oh my God.
We fished a tournament at Welsh.
It was a race. That was a race.
It was. I think I probably made 7 times the amount of casts as everybody else in the water that day.
Except me.
Except you. You're. But
I wasn't as fast as you were, but I was keeping up.
But and see, like for me, even casting and pitching left-handed, I'm thinking to myself, all right, if I don't have to do this, and I don't have to do it 1,700 times, that might be another 2 minutes. And I'm like, what can I do in 2 minutes?
And I'm a little more laid back, and I'm like, I'm going to pitch this, and it's going to be falling, and there's nothing to stop me from doing this while it's falling.
And I'm just going.
So I just, like I don't feel like it makes any difference because I'm just switching it while it's falling, and it's not you're leaving an open spool while it falls anyway when you're punching.
It's just in my mind, I got to be fast.
I know.
But ADD.
And it was such a race to get fish in the boat that I was boat flipping fish and hitting him before he could get out of the way.
Yeah.
Like I was hitting him with the fish when
we're kind of lucky we didn't 7 fish that deal. Because I've done that. Well, you can have 6 for culling purposes.
Oh, yeah.
Don't ever 7 fish me.
Yeah, we are lucky because that was the biggest, we were both freaking out because all these fish we were catching were so, our whole bag was the same size.
Yeah.
And every time we'd have to cull, they'd all be the same size. And me, he was just kind of ignoring it and like didn't want to deal with it. And I'm back there trying to figure out which fish to call, and I'm freaking out because I don't want to cost us weight, but at the same time, I'm freaking out because it's been 35 seconds since I've made a cast, and I don't know, like I'm losing my mind. So. But we chased that squirrel pretty good.
That was a good squirrel.
That was a good squirrel. We did win that tournament, though.
We did win the tournament. And I was still really upset. I was so mad. Like, I thought we were going to catch 25 pounds.